Okay, I'm back. Alrighty. Yeah. Yeah, please. Thank you. Yep.
Military Mondays. The Lube will take 25% off for all veterans, active duty military, and first responders. Quaker Steak and Lube voted Best Wings USA.
Does your company's website work for you? Is it helping attract new clients and improving your brand awareness? If not, or you don't know, contact the team at Omni Strategic Technologies. With expert web developers, they build amazing web experiences that help their clients perform better. Contact Omni at 304-242-7600 or visit them at www.omniperforms.com.
Toyota-thon is on, making now the best time to visit your Toyota dealer and to save big on the car, truck, or SUV you've been dreaming of, like a 21 4Runner or a 21 Tacoma, both with $1,000 cash back from Toyota. Take $1,000 back on a 21 gas model Corolla or $1,500 on a hybrid. Or check out a 21 RAV4 with available all-wheel drive now with $1,000 cash back. Or a select model 21 Highlander and take up to $1,500 cash back. Take $2,000 cash back on a new 2020 gas model Camry or $3,000 on a hybrid model Camry. Visit buyatoyota.com, Toyota's official website for deals, to check out inventory, build your own Toyota, and to find a dealer near you. All to help make buying or leasing your next Toyota easy and affordable. You can take cash back or apply toward down payment. Offers exclude TRD Pro models and hybrid offers vary. See your dealer for details. Toyota-thon is on, so hurry. Go see your Toyota dealer today. Offers end January 4th. Toyota, let's go places.
Highland Sports Complex is the coolest destination for sports and entertainment the Ohio Valley has ever seen. Hop in for some open basketball in our field house or reserve some turf time for your next practice or game on our synthetic fields. Online registration is open for development classes and leagues for youth and adults. Highland Sports is also the hottest destination for birthday parties and other events. So come challenge yourself on our play climb and enjoy your favorite virtual reality game in the arcade. No memberships required, so visit highlandsports.com to find your next entertainment experience and get ready to reach new heights.
Hello, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm the Storm Tracker, Darnell Foster. With a look at your local weather forecast for your Thursday. Mostly cloudy, a light snow shower, daytime high near 36. Overnight low of 26 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Mostly cloudy for your Friday with highs in the upper 30s. Have yourself a great day, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster.
The views and opinions expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of this station or its sponsors.
A fresh take on local, regional, and national news. This is the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe, brought to you in part by Wheeling Hospital.
Welcome to Thursday here on the Big Gig. It is a dig out from the snow day today. After yesterday's big storm, we've got a little bit of lingering flurries, but not a lot of snow to worry about. It's just kind of the aftermath of a pretty intense snow day yesterday. The vaccine rollout continues as COVID cases still continue to rise locally. Drinking on the job has a new meaning in these pandemic times. I'll have a story about that for you coming up a little bit later on this morning. In this hour, we're going to talk about travel. Bill Bryson coming by in a bit from Uniglobal Ohio Valley Travel. The travel industry has been among the hardest hit in the country, but it's beginning to bounce back a little bit, and Uniglobe's starting to put together some plans and trips for next year. I thought it was a good time for us to catch up on that. Going to talk to Kathy Brown from HealthRight coming up in just a minute as well. Congress seems close to a new coronavirus relief bill based on Senator Manchin's $908 billion bill, but with some additional add-ons and detractions, and if we have a chance, we'll get into all of that. Weather-wise, as I said, going to be cold and cloudy. It's a cleanup day today after the snow yesterday. Daytime high, 34 or so. Currently 29 degrees at the Wheeling, Ohio County Airport, and 29 degrees. It feels like 25, by the way, with a little bit of wind out there. 29 degrees here at my home studios in the Elm Grove section of Wheeling, and 29 degrees at the Robinson Auto Group Studios downtown Wheeling in the heart of the Ohio Valley. Over the years, I have often talked about what I think is one of the finest organizations here in the Upper Ohio Valley doing unbelievably good work, and that is Wheeling HealthRight. And let's start by welcoming to the show their Executive Director, Kathy Brown. Kathy, good morning.
Good morning. How are you, Howard?
Well, I dug out from the snow, didn't have to drive in it. I think I saw on Facebook you were out driving around in the snow a little bit yesterday. So
Yesterday, not today, however.
Yeah, yesterday. I said to the audience, I always feel a little embarrassed. I sit at home and I look at the snow and played with my grandson in the snow, and I saw the beauty of it and the fun of it. And then I look at all the people who had trouble on the roads yesterday. I'm just enjoying it because it's fun, and then I realize it creates problems as well. But not today. Today it's all over and done with. Kathy, I wanted to talk about, obviously, HealthRight. 35 years. This is your 35th anniversary, not yours, but this is the 35th anniversary of HealthRight?
The 35th anniversary, yes, it is. It's pretty impressive that we've, been strong and gotten stronger all these years. So, yep, we're still serving the community.
You have grown a lot. I mean, it's adapted and changed. You've been through expansion times, difficult times, added services, had funding issues. In a minute, I want to talk about how this year in particular has been, but a lot has happened over the years. You've been there not the whole time, but a significant part of the time, right?
I'm going to start my 30th year, January 6th. So, yes, I've been here a long time. We're dinosaurs. We don't change jobs very frequently. Now it's which job do you have today? But this is only my third job since I graduated from college, so I don't change much.
Wow. Kathy, let's go back 35 years ago. How did HealthRight get started?
Actually, HealthRight got started because Nancy Liphart had worked in Charleston, and the group down there had seen a need for people falling through the cracks. And so they developed West Virginia HealthRight in Charleston, and then Nancy moved to Wheeling when she married Jack, and she could see the same problem happening here. So they put together a group of amazing people, Dr. Hoffreiter and Tom Jones from Wheeling Hospital. Dr. Hoffreiter at the time was OB. We had a nurse, Sally Eberhardt. Dr. Schultz was, they pulled him in to bring the physicians in and sat down and said, we've got a big problem. People are falling through the cracks. And they developed the very same thing in Wheeling. So we've been doing this for 35 years because of those founding fathers and mothers who saw the need.
And what was HealthRight like in the early years? Very different. Well, maybe not different. The mission might have been the same, but the amount of activity and the amount of people served and the services offered, a lot different then than now, right?
Oh, absolutely. Back in the very beginnings, it was literally a treat 'em and street 'em. Patients kind of milled in for a couple of hours, saw whatever provider was there, gave them whatever medicine they might have had donated. If you're diabetic, for example, and you took NPH insulin and we only had regular insulin, then that's what you got. So it was very different, and it wasn't primary care. It just literally was, okay, what's your complaint today? Let's treat you and get you on your way. And it was just file in and out, and it was pretty much, except for one nurse, it was actually all volunteer at that point, and a director they had.
And I would assume served fewer people then than you do now.
Oh, when I started 30 years ago or 29 years ago, we were seeing less than 8,000 patients. And it has obviously grown dramatically. We're up to 26,000 patients that we serve.
Wow.
And it was one
I always
county
use the
back
phrase
then.
working poor. I always use the phrase working poor as primarily what you're aiming for. The people who, as you say, fall through the cracks. They can't afford their own insurance, and they also are not eligible for, in many cases, government assistance insurance. So that's kind of where that's the area Health Right falls into. Am I right about that?
Well, it is, but now what we call it is underserved because we have, or underinsured, because what we have seen since 2014 when the Affordable Care Act came out is that more patients became eligible for Medicaid, up to 138.5%, but we had this new marketplace that came out, and people couldn't afford then the copay or but they didn't understand what a deductible was. So they thought, oh, we're going to be fine, and then realized I've got to pay the first $5,000, $10,000 before this insurance covers me. So now we have this big population, and that's been a big problem. And for Wheeling Health Right, we're very different. And Howard, you know, just like I do, below the Mason-Dixon line and above is a whole different world. So most of our patients are underinsured. They don't meet the Medicaid guidelines. They're just above that. The gas and oil, until right now, but the gas and oil up until then, you had all kinds of ancillary jobs around, but they were minimum wage, and our patients who used to work 2 part-time jobs now work 4 part-time jobs just to make ends meet, but none of those provide any insurance. The people with Medicaid, that's been great. But we've got a big population. 80% of our patients don't have Medicaid. So we still have a big need for uninsured or underinsured.
And in addition to those, the dollars and cents numbers of it and the number of growth in the people you serve, you've greatly expanded the kind of services being offered. You mentioned in the beginning it was treat 'em and street 'em.
Right.
You really are sort of I won't say full service, but you really provide a huge range of healthcare services for those who are clients.
We really do. We are literally a primary care center, and we're pretty much down to a true one-stop shop. You can come and apply for Medicaid there. We have an outstation worker, get your health care taken care of, dental, mental health, physical health, health education, and we have a licensed closed retail pharmacy. So really, we've got it all. We're doing new programs, like we're treating people for Hep C now, and we're just in the process of starting a peer recovery group. So we've expanded dramatically.
You know what still amazes me, and I guess it's like anything else, when you're aware of something, you assume everybody is. I'm always amazed when I talk to some people out in the real world, and I say, well, I think you would be eligible for Health Right. You probably call Health Right. And they don't understand this. There's still people who don't comprehend what you're doing. I mean, I think you probably have a lot of people out there who could be served who are not being served.
You're absolutely right. I mean, no matter what we do, and I've been trying to educate the community for 29 years that we're there, and people are like, well, I didn't know that was there, or I didn't think I was eligible. And really, the best thing to do is to call us, because more than likely, you're going to fit in somewhere. We go to 250% of the federal poverty level. So there's some level of services. And now with COVID, we're seeing people, no matter what your income level, for COVID testing. So, we're kind of the community
Do you do COVID
service.
testing?
Yes, we do. We provide testing for free. So we do the PRC's testing. We are involved with the governor's office. Since we receive a good bit of funding from the state of West Virginia, when we got the phone call from Command Central about COVID and said, would you be willing to do COVID testing? We said absolutely. So we're doing free testing, no requirements of residence, no requirements for insurance, anybody who needs to be tested. And we're doing testing Monday through Friday, 10 to 2. So, and no appointment necessary, no referral necessary. So if you want to be tested, all you have to do is come down to HealthRight and say that you're there for testing. Now, you do have to put a mask on and, go through all that routine. You have to fill out a piece of paper because we have to let the health department and the state know who was tested, particularly if they come back positive. But, yeah, we're there for anybody, and we actually will do rapid testing for anybody that needs it, particularly with businesses and healthcare organizations like Northwood, for example. If they have somebody they're concerned about, we have a relationship with them, and we will do that rapid testing. We do have to charge $50 per person for the rapid test, but that's exactly what we pay to buy it. So that's why we have to charge for that. But the PRC is free, the other testing. And it's not the one going up into the nasopharyngeal, the one they say you're cleaning out the brain. This is just the nostrils. And our rates have been really good. I mean, 99% of the people that we've tested, if the rapid says it's positive, it is. And if it says it's negative, it's negative. So, we've got a pretty good running with the testing.
I had a COVID test a couple of weeks ago. I was in the hospital, and so they did a test for me. It actually tickled.
Mm-hmm.
It was the little one up the nose, not the dig into your brain thing. And
exactly. Yeah.
They said, they said, well, we're gonna have to give you a COVID test, and I was like, oh God, no, I'm already in the hospital. I don't want more problems. But it actually tickled. Made me.
It makes
the lady
one
said,
sneeze.
yeah. Some people sneeze when they get it.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not bad at all.
So, no, it isn't. It isn't nearly as bad as people make it out to be. Kathy, this year, though, has to have been, and we're talking to Kathy Brown, the executive director of Wheeling HealthRight, on their 35th anniversary this year, here on the Watchdog Morning Show at 8:23. Kathy, this year is one of those double whammy years that come along from time to time. I would assume it is for you. I have to assume the need goes up because more and more people are in financial distress and there is a pandemic around. But you've had a harder time raising funds this year as well.
That is absolutely correct. This started in March with the pandemic and the world shut down, and our chef's auction was in May, and we weren't able to have it. And that's $90,000 that we build into our budget because we assume that will happen, and it obviously did not. So that way, it has been a very difficult year. The numbers have climbed as more businesses, first of all, if the business is shut down, even if they're not going to be closed permanently, when they closed, a lot of them didn't have insurance. So it's like, now what do I do? So we've seen our numbers climb, and that's on top of the whole OV East Ohio problem that we already had.
Yeah.
So we had that happen, then this happened, and the funding stream that we were depending on for May didn't happen. We've been very fortunate, and I believe that it's because the community knows what we do, that they have been supportive. Obviously not to the level of the 90,000, but we have had people who have gone ahead and continued to send in their donations. The businesses that are normally in the chef's auction told us to keep their donations, their sponsorships. So, we've got a great community. Howard, you know that as well as I do. I mean, we really have a community that rallies, and they have tried to help us. We're moving along, doing the best we can. The one weird thing that has happened is that with the COVID, there's been a lot of COVID grants, Now, it doesn't provide care, but has helped us to offset the cost of the supplies and the equipment that we've needed. I mean, PPE, you can't hardly get it. And, disinfecting, wipes and sprays. And we were able to put a filtration system in to clean the air. Like 99.9% of the germs and viruses within the air are clean now because we have these new units on our furnaces. So those things have allowed us to keep up with the COVID pandemic because of that money that became available. Like I said, it doesn't help us for, operations, but it helped us to not take money from operations to do the things that in order to keep our patients safe and our staff safe.
Kathy, just a personal question. You're still a nurse at heart, I think, and yet you find yourself, I know, really much more of an administrator now, getting filtration systems and juggling the budget and looking for funding and so on. Do you miss the patient connection sometimes?
I do, but I don't, because I still get to see our patients. I'm over in the clinic a lot. The patients all know me, obviously. Fortunately, unfortunately, I'm in the paper, I'm on TV, so people know who I am. I said my name's on every bathroom wall in the whole area, but people know me, so I do get to talk to them. The most rewarding
for healthy time, call Kathy. For healthy time, call Kathy Brown. Is that?
Kathy Brown, that's right. But what's really rewarding, Howard, is when you go to a grocery store or you go to a retail store and somebody sees you and says, "Aren't you Kathy Brown from Health Right?" And, of course you say yes. And they say, "Thank you so much. I wouldn't be alive today if it weren't for you," or "You really helped me," or "You saved my mom." That's so rewarding to me that in its own way, I still feel like I'm doing that patient caring part of it. I think I have a better advantage on an administrator because I do understand the needs not only of the patient, but of the staff providing the care. So I get what they need. So I use it, I just use it in a different way.
Kathy, you had planned this year to have a big, I'm trying to think, a tribute, I guess. I know that probably not the right word.
Yes.
To a guy who used to come to my house with his black bag way back when, a long time ago when I was a kid.
Right.
I remember Doc Huffrider coming to the house, making house calls with his black bag before he went on to greater things. But Doc Huffrider's been around with Health Right from the beginning, and this was going to be a year to take note of him, right?
Absolutely. He deserves the recognition more than anybody. He started it. He was, and that's, for the whole time, OV and Wheeling never really got along. I mean, that was a battle constantly. And he and Tom Jones.
I didn't know that. Nobody knew. Really?
Yeah, nobody knew that. But, he and Tom Jones actually met in somebody's rec room privately without anybody knowing and committed to providing this care to people and alternating OV Wheeling on even odd months back in the day. So they had that vision way back then, even with all the problems. That was the one time that those two hospitals came together. And Doc was the part of it. He was the driving force. And he'll tell you that, his career caring for the uninsured started when he was just a resident and, sent to New York City to a hospital for the poor. And they told him, you're going to have 60 patients. You got to take care of all of them. Some are going to live, some are going to die, and good luck. Whatever you do is the best you can do. And I'll check on you once a week, and you don't get to leave here. For 6 weeks, he never left the place. And he said, I learned then that the people that have no insurance and that are poor struggle more than anybody. So his heart has been in it since he was a young man. And he's never forgotten that, never forgotten his roots. And, he still to this day, although he can't come to the clinic anymore because of the pandemic, he still, does things for me. I take work out. I give him homework so that he doesn't get bored with sitting there. He teaches the nurse practitioners. He gives them readings every week. They call him for advice. I mean, he's one of a kind. And our community is so lucky that he chose to come back to Wheeling and be a physician in this area. And he's done phenomenal things for years. But this piece is something I know is very near and dear to his heart. He really cares about the people that don't have access. He's a man among men, I'll tell you. I have so much respect for him.
Well, he is a true elder statesman of the medical community here in the Upper Ohio Valley. Again, he actually was my family doctor. When I was a little kid, I remember Doc Huffrider was still doing house calls, would come to your house with his little black bag and, take care of you. And then, of course, I was a patient of his for many years, and then eventually he became an administrator at Wheeling Hospital, and still keeps his fingers in a number of different ways, including HealthRight. But he's a hero. I mean, I have to agree with you. He's just a unbelievably tremendous guy, and this community is so much better off for the work that he's done over the years.
Absolutely. No one deserved this award more than him. He is so special, and it's time that we stood up and said, thanks for everything you did. And my goal was to have this wonderful, event at Ogilvy because he was on their board for years. And I thought, we'll have it there. We'll just have this wonderful celebration. He and Jean, his daughters, everybody can come. And then COVID happened, and, nothing can happen. So we went to his house. We presented him with his award. Dr. Commercy came and, gave glowing comments from him as well. And Don just beamed the whole time. He was so proud.
How can people help HealthRight now? Again, here's a reality, and I find myself this way too. A lot of things that I have given to over the years, I forget to do this year because of the pandemic. It's just not as easy to remember to make that contribution, especially when you have to do it from home now as opposed to going out and taking part in an event like the Chef's Auction or whatever. How can people help with HealthRight?
Well, they can certainly make either an honorarium donation in honor of Dr. Hoffreiter to continue the clinic. They can just make a donation to the clinic. If they have a surplus of supplies, disinfectants, hand sanitizers, whatever, certainly can bring some of that down to us. Anything that they can do, because it's so necessary. They don't even have to write a check. They can get on our website at www.wheelinghealthright.com and make a secure donation right through our site, and that certainly helps us. And, this is a big time. This is our year-end appeal, and we last year did better than we've ever done, and so I'm certainly saying my prayers that people remember HealthRight during this, Christmas season, but this difficult year, because we certainly need the help more than ever right now. So any donation, any size, as literally a $10 or $25 donation is going to buy a couple of bottles of medication that are going to keep people alive. So any donation is important. The big ones are great, but the small ones are as deeply appreciated as the big ones. Anything helps us.
All right. I encourage folks to do that, and I mean to make a donation myself this week. It's been on my calendar to do, and I haven't gotten around to it, so I shall take care of that this week. Kathy, appreciate your time this morning. I wanted people to have a moment or two to reflect on 35 years of tremendous service here to the Ohio Valley, and also to maybe be reminded that they can contribute. First of all, if they need your services, you are there. But secondly, to contribute if they can. So I appreciate joining us today. Thanks so much.
Well, thanks for asking me. It's always good to get the opportunity to get the word out more. So thanks, Howard. You're always there for us. Thanks.
All right. We'll talk to you again soon. Thanks a lot, Kathy. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
All right. Kathy Hayes Brown. She was Kathy Hayes. We were together in high school, and I still call her Kathy Hayes. And that's, she's been married for a long time. I should stop that by now, but it's in my head. Hey, guess who's coming back? Bill Bryson for a show. We're going to talk to Bill for a little bit about what's happening in travel, because finally things are beginning to perk up a little bit. That's straight ahead on the Watchdog Morning Show.
The WTRF Channel 7 News Update is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
Now it's time.
Okay, and I've got he's just sent me some notes, which I'm printing out right now. Hi, buddy. Come here, give me a hug. You're in your jammies? Oh.
Yeah, for my party.
Oh, today's your party day at school. Okay, you're very Christmassy, buddy.
These are my Christmas.
You look very, very. All right, Christmas time pajamas. He has his Christmas time pajamas on today. Daddy, he's got his Christmas time pajamas on. It's a party at school today. They're supposed to wear something Christmassy, so he has his Christmas pajamas on for his Zoom classes. He looks pretty festive. Well, you're right. That's exactly right. Yeah, I want to make more snow penguins. Yeah, well, there you go.
Who they were and what they were about is just to keep the number low.
And that class will continue to grow, according to Brown. That is today's Mountaineer Report. It's brought to us by Kroger, the official grocer of WVU Athletics. I'm Tony Caridi on the Mountaineer Sports Network from Learfield, IMG College.
You might not be able to spend the holidays with family this year in person, but we can all still go home. Tune in to WTRF on December 18th at 7 p.m. for Home for the Holidays, a Loving Living Local holiday special presented by Wheeling Hospital. We'll reflect on the great holiday traditions of the Ohio Valley, Santa will read letters from local children, and we'll talk about the safe holiday memories you can make this year, plus more, including opportunities for you to win prizes while you watch. Join 7 News in staying home for the holidays.
It's the Christmas traditions that make this time of year so special. Like spending time with family and friends, the spirit of giving, remembering our blessings.
May your holidays be truly bright. Merry Christmas from Main Street Bank.
Does your dog need groomed or walked? Are you looking for a pet sitter or dog boarding options? If so, call Dirty Paws, Wheeling's newest pet care service, providing the Ohio Valley with everyone's pet care needs. Check us out on Facebook at Dirty Paws WHG or call 304-639-7754.
Have a festive adventure at Wheeling's Historic Center Market. Discover a unique mix of specialty shops and quality eateries. Hunt for the perfect gift or gift card at Center Market. Find everything from art, antiques, coffees, wine and craft beers, cigars and fine olive oils, to fresh seafood, local honey, jewelry, vintage decor, toys, and clothing. Meet friends and explore this iconic holiday shopping destination. Experience Wheeling's Historic Center Market.
For all of your IT needs, visit OmniPerforms.com. Omni Strategic Technologies, the only IT company that the Watchdog trusts.
Throughout the Ohio Valley, back to school is looking different. Each day, parents, teachers, students, coaches, and administrators are finding solutions to situations that are unprecedented. All of us at the Highlands appreciate everything you are doing and are here for the items you need. Visit hitthehighlands.com for the current guidelines and updated contact information of our retailers and restaurants.
Hello, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm the Storm Tracker, Darnell Foster. With a look at your local weather forecast for your Thursday. Mostly cloudy, a light snow shower, daytime high near 36. Overnight low of 26 degrees under partly cloudy skies. Mostly cloudy for your Friday with highs in the upper 30s. Have yourself a great day, everyone. From the Watchdog, I'm Darnell Foster.
Baby, when it's cold outside, it's warm on the Watchdog. Live, local, community-driven talk radio. Just the way you like it.
The Valley's most interesting conversations continue now on the Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe, brought to you in part by Wheeling Hospital.
Oh man, it just sends my heart a twitter to hear the Traveling Man theme song again for the travel show, and to welcome Bill Bryson in. Bill, I don't know about anybody else, but I'm getting antsy.
Well,
I'm getting ready to go. You know, I don't know where I want to go, but I want to go.
A lot of people are telling us that, Howard. So hopefully it won't be much longer. We'll be back to full speed. But we've had
you've been doing a few things.
Yeah, we've been trying. We've had a dozen motor coach trips since Labor Day. 3 or 4 a month, and most of them are one day. We've got a couple overnights, but they've done very well. And what we've done is try to maximize the attendance on the bus to about 30 people, just so everybody would feel safe. And I think the Maryland and Georgette did most of the trips, and they did a really good job trying to keep everybody safe along the way. And not only did they enjoy the trips, they were safe as well.
Travel industry has to have been among the hardest hit in the country. Probably travel and restaurants are the two that I think probably got hit the most. I mean, for a while there, basically the travel industry was kind of shut down, and a lot of aspects of the travel industry are just now beginning to recover, and some of them probably will come back different than they ever were before. Like the airline industry, for example. I think they're making some changes that maybe will stick with them. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's pretty much touchless travel if you're going to travel by air. And I would caution if you're planning on a flight, you want to be flexible because there are not nearly as many flights as there used to be. You know, you may have said, "Hey, I've gone to Orlando or Texas or something," and I always got this flight. Now it's not there. They're not going to go if they can help it with 8 and 10 people on a plane, although they've had to do some of that. But they've cut back the number of flights, so there's not as much opportunity as there was. Now that'll change as the people start coming back to the flights. But the other thing too is there's just a lot of misinformation about air travel, and I know people say, "Well, I don't want to be in that tube for 3 hours or whatever." But the airlines are actually pumping fresh air, outside air, into that cabin every 2 to 3 minutes. So you're safer probably in breathing their air than you are in your own car. But again, the perception is that you're stuck there. Now, Delta still has this month no middle seats, so you don't have to worry about being seated next to somebody if you're traveling alone. But I think even January 1st, I think all that goes back to normal. So, but anyway, Delta was the only one.
Do you have to wear masks in an airplane?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and through the airport. The one thing with the airport, everything is touchless. You're not, they're not taking your driver's license and handing it back to you. And gotta go wipe it up. Everything now is touchless. And to your point, I think there's going to be a lot of that kind of stuff that just, okay, it's working. We don't need to touch it. Let's just keep going that way. Because, besides COVID, there's regular flu and colds and all that kind of stuff that can get transmitted, between one human and another. So this is probably a good thing long term. And the other one, the cruise
airports
industry,
have always.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Airports have always been known as a place for long crowds and big lines, and so that always, I think, probably makes folks nervous right now. The security lines, for example, usually are very packed and long. I assume they're trying to spread those out and socially distance them and so on, right?
Yeah, like I said, right now there's not that many people traveling, so no, you're not waiting very long, and they've got the 6 feet markers on the floor and all that kind of stuff as well. So, they're trying to accommodate everyone that way. Then the cruise lines.
Is anybody cruising yet, or are the lines still shut down?
No, the cruise lines haven't sailed since March, and now it looks like through February. It looks like March 1st. If it doesn't change, it's actually changed every month. It was September 1st, then October, then November, then December. You start saying, okay, we've got people that have booked a cruise, canceled it, rebooked, canceled it, rebooked, and it's just getting old. The CDC and the cruise lines are not on the same page. Royal Caribbean has done a lot, and I think if you're going to cruise again here in 21, I think you're going to see a lot of changes. And Royal Caribbean has been very upbeat on how they're coming along here, and but they tried a 2-day cruise out of Singapore. Didn't go anywhere, but it just went out and came back, and then they said, well, somebody was detected with the COVID. And as much as I would have been just totally ticked off because it turned out to be false, the head of the Royal Caribbean said it was a good test for us. They didn't have it. We checked, they check everybody getting on and all that, so everybody's, good there. And then the guy had 3 negatives, but their protocols were tested and performed very well. So even if somebody would come up with that, they did what they were supposed to do, and I think hopefully showed the CDC that, hey, we can operate here, and if it does somehow slip by us, it doesn't have to infect the whole ship. And in this case, it turned out to be negative anyway. But yeah, they are really eager to get back. But the cruise industry has been shut down. The other one is the buses. The buses are just almost the same way. They're here and there. Sometimes schools will need something, but for the most part, the bus industry is really, really hurting as well.
Well, again, buses tend to be places where traditionally, if you had a good group going, the buses were pretty full. You're sitting next to someone, right in front of them, right behind them, and so on. It's kind of hard to socially distance there. if you're going to use the full bus. I guess one of the things that you guys have done is, as you point out, try to space it out as much as you can and not take full bus loads, right?
Right. We were trying to cap it at 30, and some trips we had 30, some trips we didn't, but we tried not to go over that just to give people room to spread out and feel comfortable, and that seemed to be pretty successful. But in the 12 trips that we did, I don't think we saw one other bus. And we're going to places where buses would normally go. So, and I think the girls said we didn't see one other bus. And then when you get out, the people in the wherever we're going, if it's an attraction or something, they are just tickled to death to see us because nobody else is coming, and they, hey, thank you for at least trying to keep something going here. So, but I mean, they are rolling out the red carpet. Marilyn did a mystery trip a couple weeks ago. We went over to Medina, Ohio for Castle Noel, and that whole thing with there was a candle factory we went to, and had a dinner, and that they said that was just fabulous. But they were so much fun to work with, and I remember the guy said, "Well, if you don't get here by 12:45, which was lunchtime, you come at 1 or a little after. It's not exactly like we're busy." So it would just, hey, we're just happy to see you, and that's been kind of refreshing to work with people like that too.
So we're now, the vaccine is rolling out now. Now COVID is still raging pretty heavily.
Right.
All across the country. We're hitting actually record levels at the moment. So we still have a long way to go before COVID is gone. But the vaccine is now rolling out. I think we're seeing finally some light at the end of the tunnel. Everybody is getting a handle on how to handle this better, I think. And again, I'll be honest, I missed traveling the past year, but I'm very cautious, and so I didn't want to. But I am getting restless, and I'm thinking certainly by middle of 2021, we ought to be able to get back to some semblance of normal. Is that kind of what you're thinking?
That's kind of what we're feeling. We've got our spring training got canceled last year, the baseball trip, and that one is probably right on the cusp. It's going to take, another 6 weeks or so before I think the numbers of people that have received the vaccine can make an impact. But I think people are confident, and I think that's the big thing. Okay, I can see an end to this. Let's go ahead and schedule our trip to Disney or to an all-inclusive in the Caribbean. Let's get out of here. And the girls are really good on, and actually all those areas, but they know which of the islands and what the protocols are on each one, and they're all different. But we're seeing people start to now inquire about that spring-summer trip. But I'm not sure what's going to happen. They're saying now they may push spring training trip back. We may end up losing that again. But hopefully that's the last one, that after we get through March, any trips we had in April and so on, I know Georgette's got a river cruise in May. We're still pretty confident that one's going to go. But that's what we're seeing too, that maybe the people that are talking now, for the most part, are looking at beyond March, April and beyond. So hopefully that will happen. In the meantime, we still have some more motor coach trips we're working on. We got one in January, late January. It's just a one-day trip. It's called Paint Monkey. And
Paint Monkey?
Paint
Okay.
Monkey. I mean, there's the concept is around, but I stumbled on those folks a couple months ago, and I thought, this is really cool. So we're going to do something there, and then we've got a Valentine.
No, you can't just leave it at that. But what is Paint Monkey?
Well, basically, it's a class where you paint whatever they've got.
Monkey.
A monkey, yeah. No, it's just a cute name for a paint and sip kind of thing. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So, and again, they've got a guy who's really good there, and I think if there's room on the bus, I may tag along on that one because it looks like it's a lot of fun. And then there's a really big candy store across the street. I think we're going to try to do something with them too. So, but there's a couple other things that Georgette's putting in there. Probably going to be late January. Again, probably cut it off about 30. February, we've got a Valentine's Day. Actually, we're going to wait till Monday the 15th, working on that. And there's some other trips going into spring. I think we're going to head back to the Vera Bradley outlet in April. We should be okay by then, maybe. I know she's working on a Pittsburgh Flower Show, and a covered bridge tour, a Pittsburgh church tour around Easter. So we still have some motor coach trips in the spring here that we're going to try to see if we can't move those along. And then we got some. Go ahead.
What about? I don't mean to interrupt you. What about theater shows in Pittsburgh? Those were some of the first to go by the wayside at the beginning of COVID this past year. Are they going to be doing theater shows there at the various venues in Pittsburgh this year or not?
September. So that's always been a big part of our business, whether it's in here or New York or someplace else, theaters, concerts, that kind of thing. They are pretty much all gone for now, but Pittsburgh is September, and I think New York is, I want to say, is it Labor or Memorial Day maybe? I think that's the last I heard in New York. The theaters in New York have been shut down for a long time as well.
I know that they had some really good shows scheduled for this past year. In fact, I was having a hard time picking a few of them. We were going to go to some, and then they all got canceled. So those are always kind of fun.
Yeah, and we have in this late spring into summer, we have some bigger trips. One thing that's really neat, one of the best trains in the world is this Rocky Mountaineer. And it's operated out of Western Canada for a long time, and they are going to bring it to the Western U.S. this fall. And we've arranged for a trip that includes the Rocky Mountaineer. It's a 7-day trip. I believe it's October the 4th. And it's basically Denver to Las Vegas. And there are 4 national parks in there. I think it's Bryce, Zion, Rocky Mountain National Park, and I think Arches is in there, along with 2 days on the Rocky Mountaineer. So a lot of folks have always seemed to inquire about it, but now we've got a trip that we're actually going to escort the trip, and this one should be a really neat thing, especially since it's got 4 national parks in it, and you end up with a night in Las Vegas as well. So that should be a really good one. So
that sounds like a good trip. I've always wanted to do one of the train trips that you've done a number of them in years gone by, and I've never had a chance to. I think one year we waited too late, and by the time we were going to book the trip, you were all booked up. But that sounds like a fun one. I just train ride sounds like a lot of fun.
And it stays in the U.S. Typically, Rocky Mountaineer is in Western Canada, but being able to ride it in the United States is pretty cool. And I want to say there are maybe 8 or 10 trips in mid-September through mid-October. And even if the trip with us doesn't work for you, we can schedule your trip on the Rocky Mountaineer. It goes out and back. So if you're interested in going, but not necessarily on the dates that we're going, hey, that's fine. We can get you the same package on another date. Just give us a call, and we'll get that taken care of.
Bill, I don't know if you have to run, or if you can stick around for a few minutes after the news break, and if you have to go, I understand that. But I'd like to talk about whether you're going to do some international travel or not, and I'm up on the clock already, so
okay, sure, I can stick around.
It's up to you. Okay, we can stick around and talk a little bit more after the news break, because I do want to talk about international travel. Looks like you're going to do some European cruises and I guess an Ireland trip,
Right.
Alaska coming back too. So
Yep.
We'll talk more about that coming up, if you don't mind hanging around for a few minutes.
Happy to do it. Happy.
All right, but let's run to the newsroom right now. It's almost 9 o'clock here on the Watchdog Morning Show. Bill Bryson is with us. We're talking about traveling, beginning to come back, picking up, start to think ahead to 2021. Maybe want to think about Christmas gift giving finally. Give a gift of travel for the new year. If you have someone who likes to travel, this would be a great thing to give them. We'll talk about all of that coming up after we check in with ABC. They cover the world next here on the Watchdog Morning Show.
The Watchdog is FM 98.1, AM 1600 WKKX Wheeling, FM 97.7, AM 1370 WVLY Moundsville.
The ABC News is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
From ABC News.
I'm Brian Clark. The number of people in the U.S. who applied for unemployment benefits last week climbed again up to 885,000. It's the latest sign of the toll COVID-19 is taking on the economy.